What you will see today is a series of skills that I personally applied in my experience directly on me. They worked on me. I learned them from other people. I adjust them and I use them with my clients. Now, to make sure that everybody is going to enjoy what's going on, I would ask kindly to mute yourself. So in case there is any other noise, we have no echoes that is going on and everybody can hear properly. If there is any problem, if I get disconnected, I will do my best to reconnect myself. Annette is the co-host, so everything should run nice and smoothly. Any questions so far? Yes, no, maybe. Cool. Alrighty. So, improving. Okay. Now we are not going to have any kind of activity happening per se. This is just going to be, we are not having any practice. Okay, not in this one. If you have any interest in doing anything like this, get in touch with me, get in touch with Annette, and let's see what we can do for that. Okay, so let me see. I don't think I need to share my screen, but in case I need to. Okay, so improving sports performance, ladies and gentlemen, how is it possible that in certain situations, top level athletes can demonstrate certain level of skills, and in different situations, they cannot? So what is the difference that makes the difference? Let's imagine that for now, the technical side of whatever is, in this case, whatever it is that we're talking about, if specifically of a sport, of an activity, or whatever it is, the technical side has been taken care of. Okay, so the person that is coming to see us or ourselves, we already have a coach that is taking care of the technical bits and pieces. So I have 3 beliefs. Well, I do have more than that, but I have 3 beliefs that serve me recently very well and serve my clients very well too. Number 1, we all do the best that we can with the resources that we have access to in that specific moment. 2, there are no unresourceful people, only unresourceful states. 3, it's never a matter of resources, only a matter of resourcefulness. So when we think this in this way, we can see how much resourcefulness becomes very important. Now, how cool is the fact that resourcefulness per se does not exist? How cool is the fact that resourcefulness is a nominalization? You see, we take a verb, we take an adverb, and we transform it in a name, something that does not quite exist, something that either we do ourselves in a certain way or not, like happiness, like love, you know, all these things. We cannot put them in a wheelbarrow, can we? But what's changing if we go in the opposite order? If we say it's never a matter of resources, only a matter of resourcefulness. There are no resourceful people, but only unresourceful states. We all do the best that we can with the resources that we have access to in that specific moment. So when we talk about performance, we can think of it in many different ways. We have different fields, we have different situations, different meanings. Performance can be an act of presenting. Performance can be a display of a behavior. It can be a process involving time and effort. By the way, as people, as human beings, we have only 2 things, time and energy. Keep this in mind. Whatever you do, that's what we have, time and energy. So performance can be an action of performing a task, performing a function. Performance is a display. It's a display of something that we do, whatever it is. So when we talk specifically about sport performance and achieving a result, we may want to keep in mind that there are aspects that are under our control, directly as the performers, or under the control of the performers himself or herself. And there are aspects that are not under our control. How is that? Well, talking about sports, I just want to open a bracket, a parenthesis. We have different kinds of sports. We have individual sports and we have team sports. I'm quite confident that you guys know the difference. I mean, if I'm playing tennis, 1 versus 1 is an individual sport. If I play tennis, double, 2 versus 2, it's already a team sport. Okay, volleyball is a team sport. Basketball is a team sport. Okay, archery, when I play just on my own, okay, it's just me, individual sports. Okay, then we have contact or no contact sports. Non-contact sports generally is volleyball. So there is a net that is separating the two teams. Badminton, tennis, it's a no contact sport. A contact sport can be, for example, well, of course, boxing. I mean, that's quite evident. Kickboxing, any fighting kind of activity. But basketball is a contact sport as well. Of course, American football, soccer is a contact sport as well. Anything that involves some kind of contact is a contact sport as well. There is another distinction that I want to do. Sports where you face an opponent in a direct way. So where there is a direct interaction, like tennis, there is a direct interaction there. Based on how they place the ball, we have to react, like table tennis, ping pong, volleyball, basketball. There is a direct interaction. Something else, squash. Squash can be lethal. I've seen people coming out of the squash court that were completely done. So let's say just a small racket and a kind of thingy, small ball, that can be, wow, big effort. And definitely it's a sport where the opponent in the same space with you makes a big difference. Racing, automobile racing, short track, speed skating, ice skating. By the way, ice skating, hockey, ice hockey. By the way, ice hockey, in case you didn't know, ice hockey is has been deemed, as far as I can remember, the quickest sport of all, ice hockey. And I think that ping pong was second, I think. If you know anything different, just let me know. Why am I telling you all this? Because it's important. Now, something less physical can be, for example, poker, chess, differently, but still you are playing against somebody else live. So there is interaction on some levels. Sport where you don't face an opponent in a direct way can be, for example, gymnastics, artistic gymnastics, diving, figure skating, bobsleigh, you know, where you go down the hill, ski jumping. So it means that there is, you need to get the most points or the best time or jump the longest, you know, and it's something that is just about you, yourself, and the performance, whatever you're doing that very moment, just you, okay? You and your team, of course, if it's a team sport. Then we have a mix. Again, why am I telling you this? Because it changes the parameters of how you approach whoever is coming to talk to you. And the next one, the mix, is this one. You don't have a direct confrontation where, you know, tennis, you place the ball in one place or another one, but you are racing versus someone else. So you can notice if someone is slower than you or faster than you. And you can do this live. In the meantime, it's happening. For example, most of athletics, you know, 100 meters race, or swimming, you know, 100 meters freestyle, for example. Golf, you can tell in your whole group, what is happening if you're taking more shots or less shot to get the ball into the hole. Certain kind of competitions for archery shootings. So this is just an important distinction. As I said at the beginning, it's not about mainly the set of techniques that I would guess some of you already have plenty already. It's about having the skills to know what to use and how to use them. And it's the way that we think, or our clients or our friend is thinking, and why it's happening that they get a result in a certain aspect of their life or their performance, and they don't get certain aspect in another one. So what is the one thing that independently of the type of sport, independently of what happens, what is the thing that you can control? Who is the witness of all your events happening to you in your life? Who is the witness, over present, everywhere, at every time? So, well, I'm talking about you because you are here. But what I'm telling you now is the same thing that I'm telling you to the athletes that I see. So secret number one, it's you. Whatever is happening, you are the witness that is always there. You're the person that is in control of your life. So what is that makes the difference when you do something properly or not? I had this athlete. She was, I think she still is, a soccer player. She was very, very good with penalty kicks. You know, if you know what a penalty kick is, you have soccer, you know, you have the goalkeeper, you have the shooter, 11 meters distance, the ball on the ground, you know, and it's the challenge between the whoever is shooting the ball and the goalkeeper that has to stop it, of course. And she came to see me because she couldn't score anymore. She couldn't score. I mean, it's a big goal and she couldn't score anymore. And that was one of her favorite things to do. She came to see me and I started to ask, what's going on? What's happening? And she was telling me something like, I don't know, I just, you know, I place the ball just on the disc there. I get ready to go and kick the ball. And, you know, and then I just, careful to what they tell you, just. Normally the word just is just telling you that they are not telling you a big chunk of information. And I just hit it, kick it, and it goes out, or the goalkeeper managed to stop it. Okay, so how do you know? What do you mean? When is it that you know if you're going, is there a moment that you know if you're going to actually get the ball inside of the net or not? And she looks at me like I'm stupid. And I say, well, yes, of course, when I score or not. Okay, so you're telling me that when you were actually doing a very good job, you were approaching this activity in the same way you're doing now. And say, no. Oh, yeah. So what's the difference? I don't know. It's the fact is, people always tell you everything if you pay attention. And she said, the fact is this, that, you know, I look at the goalkeeper and I just don't see the point. Right. What do you mean with that? Well, you know, it looks like the goalkeeper is just, you know, big and it's taking, you know, the whole goal. Right. How so? Well, you know, it's the fact is that I'm focusing on the goalkeeper because I want to read where he's going to go. And the more I do that, the bigger it becomes. And the bigger it becomes, the more the goal is shrinking. And the more it's shrinking, the more when I approach the ball, there is just no space for me to manage to score. So I put her in a trance and I got her to go back to a moment where she was actually enjoying what she was doing. Way before she managed to actually get to the point that she could do this with her mind. And if you think about it, this is fascinating. The fact that somebody has the skills to do anything like this. I find it absolutely fascinating. And she was just doing that. And then we went back, so I regressed her to a moment where she was enjoying this. I said, what's happening now? And she was just describing, I'm just playing with my friends. We are having so much fun. We are not even playing in an official, soccer court, soccer field. The goal is just, 2 trees that have roughly the right distance. And we just play there. It's a little bit smaller than the normal goal. And we're playing who is going to score the most just with penalty kicks. I say, right, okay. And what's happening? Tell me more. And she was describing, you see, I'm having so much fun because I'm starting to play and see, oh, look at that. There are so many points that I know that the ball can fit in. There are many points where I know that if I move my body weight as I approach the ball in a way or in another one, it's kind of like there is a gust of wind that is actually moving the goalkeeper in one direction or the other one. Right. And what happens next? Well, if there is a gust of wind moving the goalkeeper in the opposite way, and there are so many ways where I can put it, it's easy. The ball goes in. This is something that I find fascinating. You see, one of the things that I learned is that when you get into the reality of the person that is talking to you, because for them that is real, it doesn't matter what I think. For them, that is real. When I grabbed whatever was real for them, for her in this case, and I made it real in such a way that it was real now, for her it just made sense. And all of a sudden, it wasn't a problem anymore. Instead of focusing on the goalkeeper, she started to focus on her skill. She focused on what she could do. She was focusing on her ability and finding all the spots where the goalkeeper would have been too far to even reach. And maybe there was a little bit of wind that was keeping her in the opposite direction, because she was just moving in such a way that, her body weight was putting the other person off balance. That was something I found quite interesting. I found another one. I had a tennis player. This guy was telling me how much he could. Hey, Jess.
Hello. Sorry I'm late.
It's okay.
I thought it was UK time, not Europe time. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. You're early in this case. So I had an example of a tennis player. This tennis player, this guy was technically very skilled, was very good, and he was hitting the ball perfectly when his opponent was serving and making an error. Interesting. I'm not an expert in tennis. I know that if when you serve and the ball is touching the net or it goes over a certain line, it's a fault or something. So it doesn't count as a regular service. Okay, that's as much as I know. If you know differently and you want to correct me, please feel free. So, and the fact is that when the other player was making a fault, he was playing that ball perfectly, and he was describing it. It's just I feel so loose when I move and I just do the right movement and I place it exactly. It's a challenge for me, and I'm curious and I say, how can I place this one just there? Let's see if I can hit that spot there. And he was placing the ball all the time, just in that corner precisely. He was feeling very loose. It was very easy. When the opponent was actually doing a perfect service, his words were something like, oh my God, it's a perfect service. So what's happening? Well, I feel lots of pressure. I feel so much pressure now. I have I have to respond perfectly. I have to do it, and so much pressure that I kind of feel that I'm waiting twice as much. The atmosphere is compressing on me, and when I have to hit the ball, I'm so rigid and I'm making so much effort, I start to sweat. I'm doing nothing already, and it's so hard, and I grip my racket so hard because it's so hard to move it. That is a much different situation from the one before, where this person, the same person, had an attitude of curiosity, playfulness. Where can I put this next? Let's see if I can actually do that. I challenge myself in being more and more precise. And what was happening is that this attitude was getting him his best shots ever. This attitude was getting him the opportunity to actually achieve something that normally he was finding very difficult and very hard. So, second secret, responsibility and congruence. Who is responsible for your results? Who is responsible for your performance? It's always someone else. If it's always someone else's fault, you will always be a victim of fate, destiny. This is the best one, luck. I remember I got my daughter, she was interested in trying different sports. We went to this coach, the soccer coach, and they were just playing. And this coach kept repeating over and over when these kids were just simply touching the ball wrong, because they didn't know better, they were learning. But this coach kept repeating, bad luck, bad luck. Oh, it's just bad luck. It's just bad luck. And I was there thinking, mate, it's not bad luck. Teach them how to touch the ball better so they will have responsibility is the ability to respond to whatever is happening. If they don't know how to do it and they keep addressing bad luck because they don't know better, and this becomes the forma mentis that people will have under your guidance, I'm not interested in having my daughter learning that. Bad luck. You are facing an opponent in a direct way. That opponent, I would guess, wants to win too. So it's going to do the best that they can to actually make your life more difficult and make their life easier to get to the score, to have the better score. That's normal. So it's not a matter of luck per se. Yes, it can happen. You just trip over your own shoelaces. It happens. It can happen that, there is just a reflection of something at the wrong moment. Yes, it can happen. But what is it that you can do that is under your control? What are you doing that is about what you can control? And this becomes very, very important. How congruent are you based on how you communicate with yourself and with the others and how you act? Because if you are not congruent and you don't take responsibility, there is nothing that we can do as hypnotists per se. There is nothing much we can do. If this is something that is happening on the background, something else needs to happen before we can actually do anything. Of course, this is just my take on it and my belief. So I wouldn't suggest this to be yours too. What I'm saying is that most of the time, it's a matter of who feels responsible for their own actions. Because if I keep thinking it's bad luck, destiny is very angry with me, you see, and so I can't do it, we have a different kind of beliefs that this person is displaying. In team sports, a couple of times, I asked to the team members, it was a volleyball team. I asked the team members their responsibility, which kind of percentage each of them assigned to themselves in the responsibility that they had, in the way that they had, in the victory of their team. So there is 12 people in this team, eventually somebody played, somebody didn't play. So of all the people that played, what's the percentage? How much did you do to make sure that your team won? And I can tell you, summing all the responses, we were easily going well above 100%. A couple of times, I asked the same team the percentage of responsibility in the loss of their team. And summing all the responses, we were easily staying below 100%. When you are working with a team, of course, you need to remember that you are working with single individuals. A team is made of individuals. If an individual is relying on a team to be strong, there is a problem. Because when the team somehow cannot take an extra weight to carry, that person won't be able to perform. When you manage to actually have each individual strong in their own way, that's changing. That's different. If everybody can take responsibility, different from victimizing themselves, because that's another aspect. Yeah, I know we are losing. It's always my fault because I don't do that. I can't do this. I'm sorry. That's a different kind of aspect as well. Okay. So whenever you want to actually help someone, help a team, it's important that each individual is actually having their own spot into the team. They are doing their own part. They are responsible for that. And they are congruent. They say what they're doing. This is key. And it's even more important when you are dealing with high-level performers that really want to do the best 100% of the time. So imagine now if there was a formula that will allow us to help the individuals. So that once you help the individual, you can move into helping the individuals working together as a team. The formula is here. So secret number one was you are responsible for what you're doing. You are the person that is always there. You're the person in charge of what you do. Secret number two, responsibility of congruency. Secret number three is performance equal P minus I. I'll say it again. Performance equals P minus I. I don't know if you ever heard of Timothy Galway. Anybody heard of this lovely chap at all? Timothy Galway. In the 1974, something like that, he released a book called The Inner Game of Tennis. Yes, thank you, Evelyn. The Inner Game of Tennis. This has been called the beginning, as far as I'm aware of, the beginning of what is now life coaching, mental coaching, mindset coaching, this kind of things. So he used to be, I think, the tennis captain of, I have the inner game of golf. Yes, he did more than just the inner game of tennis, 100%, yes. Yes. He started with that, and then he started to write a few different ones, absolutely. So he was the captain of his tennis team at university. And then I think he became a tennis coach or something like that. So he noticed, by paying attention, in case you were wondering how important it is to pay attention, he noticed by paying attention that there was another component of in how well or how badly the players were performing. Kind of having, you see, he discovered that there was an outer game that everybody was witnessing in the court. See how they were technically hitting the ball and the speed, the stamina that they had, the strength. And then there was an inner game that was getting fought in within. An inner game, kind of like having an internal dialogue. Kind of have an internal dialogue with themselves. And depending on the quality of the dialogue, there was a relationship between the quality of the dialogue and the quality of the results and the quality of the performance that these athletes could do. So, in case you were wondering, performance equals P. P means potential, minus I, and I stands for interferences. So your performance is only as good as the result that you have starting from your potential and minus interferences. In case you were wondering, when we talk about potential, just a quick example, we can have a positive environment. So if the people close to you are actually helping you out in any way. Natural qualities. Well, our DNA is different. I mean, I know that in the neuro-linguistic programming, they say you can just get the same strategy. You can model the person that is doing already the best so that you have the best strategy, and you can apply this to yourself or to your clients to get great results. This is absolutely true. I've done it myself. I've done it on others. It's possible. But even if I'm going to use the same strategies that Michael Jordan has used to learn and to become the champion that he was, depending how you think about that, I will never be Michael Jordan. Not just because of the height, but because of so many different factors. We are still two different people. When you use the right strategy and the right system, you can get to much better results faster. Absolutely, 100%. So based on the environment, based on the natural qualities, based on the proper strategies, to compensate, to overcome eventually some limitations that you may have. Technical skills, based on your technical skills, this is a potential. Constructive beliefs. Oh my God, the beliefs that you have in whatever you do are key. Constructive beliefs and strong, useful values. These are all part of the potential. That's what you got. That can give you the best performance ever. Now you got that. Now we have interferences. What can they be? What could they be? Well, I'm glad you asked. We have negative environment, for example. How you leave your negative environment. We will talk about as well 3 components that we all do based on any event. At any given time, we make 3 decisions, what we focus on, the meaning that we give, and what we can do about it. This is all the things that I'm telling you, lovely people. My opinion, they are quite important. And this is not just about sport, that's about anything that is happening in your life. Okay, so we're going to talk about this. In this case, we talk about interferences. So, negative environment or the perception of a negative environment. This coach is always telling me off. I can't stand my coach anymore. Oh my God, this coach, oh my God, keeps just hammering me day and night. I can't stand my coach anymore. This is awful. And then to this person specifically, I said, so you're telling me that this coach wants so much for you to be the best, that keeps giving you feedback so you can keep improving. Is that what you're telling me? I never thought of that. Right. We all know that, ladies and gentlemen, we all know that we are already hypnotized. It's not that people come to see an hypnotist to get hypnotized. They just want to change the trance they're in. If you have done hypnosis for some time, you know that very well. Sometimes just reframing a situation could be enough to just make sure that somebody can see that things are not set in stone in the same way he thought they were. And this can already make the big difference, just that sometimes. So, negative environment can be an interference, the way we live that. Poor management of any limitations we may have. If you take somebody like Bruce Lee. I was reading a book about him teaching other students, and one of these situations, it came out there was this dialogue between the author of the book and Bruce Lee himself. And he was saying, yeah, you are so perfect. I have a hard time in doing all this, but, your body's perfect. You do so perfectly. And Bruce Lee, the author said, started to laugh and say, you see, I got to this point despite of my limitations. Thankfully to the use that I made of my limitations. I started to study Wing Chun. That's a martial art that generally focus on close combat because I couldn't see very well. So it was useless for me to actually focus on having any kind of skill in a faraway kind of combat, whatever it is, because I wanted to make sure that in my environment, I could be good. I could give 100% where I could actually make the most out of it. My right leg is shorter than my left leg. So in my stances, depending on the effect that I want to have on the opponent, I'm going to use it to just have more leverage when I actually kick in one way or another one. And that is giving me much more power. So what can we do? How can we manage our limitations? If we have a poor management, this becomes an interference. Limiting beliefs. My physical constitution is going to stop me to get what I want, whatever I want. My short leg is going to make me a defected athlete. I won't be able to have any martial arts skills because my leg is shorter. You grab Bruce Lee and you have, no, mate, that's quite not the case. So any kind of limiting belief and weak values can make a big difference. Now, when I say weak values, I talk about positive values, values that you can use to make your life better. Because we always have kind of strong values. It's just a matter of which one is the most important. So, one more thing. A negative environment, for some of us, can be a godsend. If you have a polarity response to what is getting told to you, the negative environment would be the fuel that is going to get you really fired up. I know people that got told, you will never achieve anything. And they said, oh, fuck you, watch me. And they go and do it because they had that kind of situation. So again, a negative environment or any kind of limitations, it's only a limitation until we believe it is. When we change our belief, it's changing the effect that this has on us. So just to make it real quick for people that eventually like a little bit of numbers, let's imagine two athletes. Let's imagine these two athletes, they have two different levels of potential. Let's imagine athlete A. Athlete A has a potential of 100. You can write it down if you want to, but it's not necessary. Okay, athlete A has the potential of 100, and let's imagine has lots of confidence and thrives under pressure. He loves it, thrives under pressure. The level of interferences are quite small. Let's imagine a 5. So he starts from 100, minus 5 makes 95. He thrives under pressure. Athlete B has a potential of 150. Whoa, 150. Now, lately had made some wrong decision, bad decision, doesn't like it when people are watching him. So when this happens, he feels quite insecure, and his interferences are 55. So from 150 minus 55, we have 95 performance for this person and 95 for this person. When I do this, I always think that I'm playing some kind of, Dungeon and Dragon kind of magic card and stuff that you have, throw a dice and which kind of result you got. Anyway, both of them have a 95 kind of, this is all theory, by the way. I don't do much of it, but some people told me that they like it. So you have both of them doing 95 and 95. This one doesn't like when people are watching him. This one thrives under pressure. if you were in a situation that you wanted to help this person, just type in the chat. How would you approach this? What it is that can be very important? Just type in the chat. What you think would be very important for this person that has a potential 150 to actually manage to achieve as much of his potential, accessing all his resources. What do you think would be the best for this person? Improving his technical skills? Come on, write in the chat. What is it that is going to make the difference? Just, you know, of course, we're just playing. So what is it? Getting over people watching him. Yeah, that could be one thing. Absolutely. This person said, for example, that you know, he feels insecure because has made a very bad decision lately. That's another aspect of it. So what is it that you know that you can do, that you can help this person with eventually? There is no right or wrong answer. It's just to get you to put a different hat for a second right now. You know, so think about this. If this is the situation, what can we do? What is the difference that is going to make the difference? Okay, so how much? Yes. What is his motivation for doing the sport? Thank you very much, Ram. That's spot on. And that is something that we are going to talk in a few minutes. That is exactly that. Absolutely. So getting over people watching him, beautiful, spot on. What is his motivation for doing the sport? Spot on. Absolutely. I highly believe that with every client, whatever is happening, I want to have a chat with them. Our brain is very literal. Everything that people are saying, it's quite literal for them. I had this client once that she couldn't speak. She couldn't move, really. She was very sad. And she was talking like this. Oh my God, it was painful to stay and listen to her. If you have ever watched the movie Zootopia, there is a situation where the main character wants to have information from a sloth. This is impossible. And she was telling me that, you know, she felt like her heart was encaged. That was her reality. And I remember I did martial arts for years. I remember standing up and just saying, where is it? That it is there. Okay, so you're telling me that once it's broken, you will be free. Yes. And I pretended to just hit the cage and all stuff. She got startled, and all of a sudden she looked at me and said, oh my God, she was talking normally. What did you do? And I said, the cage is broken, isn't it? Oh my God, yes. So how do you feel now? Free. So our brain can be quite literal. And I can say that I couldn't wait to use that, because there was a similar story Richard Bandler did, but I can assure you that this one is mine as well. I've done it. Beliefs, signori, ladies and gentlemen, beliefs and goals are very powerful. You need to be able to see yourself doing whatever you want to do. I'll say it again. People don't get sometimes how important it is what I just said. You need to be able to see yourself doing it. You need to be able to see yourself doing it. If you cannot see yourself doing it, noting it, perceiving it, if you want to work more in sensations than just on a visual kind of level, sure, there must be some kind of acknowledgement that it's happening. So let's just use the visual one, the visual modality. You need to be able to see yourself doing it. Most of the time, I'm not saying all the time, but most of the time, one of the key points of taking a decision is based on the length of the movie where you see yourself doing it and getting the result or not. Seeing yourself doing it long enough. The movie has to be long enough so that you can see that you're actually doing it and you're getting the result, seeing yourself. I noticed that with many of my clients, this is quite common. Myself as well. Not with all my clients though. Some clients do it slightly differently. They need to talk themselves into doing this. Okay? So, beliefs, goals can be very powerful. What does this mean? It means that you need to have trust in yourself if you are the performer, or the performer needs to trust themselves. They need to be able to see themselves doing it. They know they can achieve it. They need to have trust in who is guiding them, in the method that they are using, and they need to value the result more than the challenges that they may face. I'll say it again. Trust in yourself. Trust in yourself. You can achieve it. Trust in who is guiding you, whoever it is. Okay, whoever he is, whoever she is. Trust in who is guiding you. Trust in the method, in the strategy. And the value of the results, they need to value this more than the challenges that they will actually face. Let me see. Hey, guy. Jess, is seeing better than sensation? It has come up many times that visualization has been an integral part of an athlete's success. Most of the time, I agree with you, Jess. Most of the time, I found that with athletes, the visual part is very strong. Not with everyone, though. I had a few. They were very logical people, and they were in a situation where they had to talk to themselves about doing it. And when I was working on a modality, on a visual modality, I wasn't helping them. So I said, sure, I'll switch. I don't care. They are living their own reality, so I am going to use theirs. Doesn't matter. But yeah, most of the time, the visual was, yes, absolutely, 100%. I found that was the most effective one. Alrighty, so moving on. So have you ever noticed how much our resources, in case you haven't noticed now. Have you ever noticed how much our resources, our beliefs, and the quality of our goals and the quality of our decisions are all linked together? Resources, beliefs, the quality of our goals, the quality of our decisions. And they're all linked to our emotional state. Now, we are not our state, we do our state. So when you change the way you think, you change the way you feel, therefore changing what you're capable of. That's one of favorite Richard Bandel's kind of quote. When you change the way you think, you change the way you feel, therefore changing what you're capable of. Now, what is the quality of your decisions when you feel anxious, worried, sad, depressed, angry, horny, excited? What's the quality of your decision? It's kind of like having just a path that is getting you from here to there or here to there. It's quite strict sometimes. If a person is enraged, very angry, tunnel vision, can only see certain things and is missing everything else. Now, just, for fun, have a look around you and notice how many red objects you can see around you. Count them. Count at least 10. Come on, have a look around. Red objects, have a look around. Count 10. Just let me know when you've done it. Yeah, done. Almost. Okay, done. Thank you very much. Now, just for fun, close your eyes. Close your eyes. Let's play. Now close your eyes and remember how many blue objects are there, and count them in your mind. Blue objects. It's okay. It's okay. Come on, in your mind, with your eyes closed, how many blue objects are there? None. Oh, well, it happens. Now open your eyes and double check. See if you can find any. Okay, well, plenty of message here. Done, near, none, 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 none. Okay, very good. All righty. You see, let's imagine that the red objects are, you know, problems, fears, bad situations, and we are very good in noticing them. And imagine the blue objects are all the things that can help you actually achieving your results, the goals that you want to achieve. If you only focus on the red objects, the illusion that you're building for yourself is that this is your reality. And that's what I started to just say at the beginning. At any given time, we make three decisions. What we focus on, the meaning that we give to it, and what we can do about it. And they go in this order. How so? Because based on what we focus on, we give a certain meaning. Based on the meaning that we give, we know that we can do or we cannot do certain things about it. So when we focus on just certain aspects, we are missing out many other opportunities. So it doesn't matter now if you're a high achiever that gets pumped by sharing your goals, if you prefer to, or if you prefer to keep them for yourself, nurture them and make them grow until you're ready to share with other people, until you know that you can get it. Because, for example, you need to be aware that people may be different. A high achiever bait himself or herself into, you know, the challenge of sharing their goal and knowing that they want to go for it. Somebody that doesn't have necessarily that mentality, once they share their goal, all of a sudden, and people congratulate with them, they already receive the response in their mind. Oh, I already feel good about that. And they are losing the drive to actually get the real results. So based on the person you're dealing with, based on who you are, if you use one strategy or another one, you're going to have very, very, very different results just based on that. So it doesn't matter if you want to improve your performance on stage. It doesn't matter if you want to improve your performance on the track field, in business or in your personal life. Your life will change once you focus on the right thing. The life of your clients will change once you can get them to focus on the right thing. My personal take on with my clients is this one. I like to work with them on a conscious level and on an unconscious level. I like the use of hypnosis together with a strategy that they consciously know that they can use when they need it. I like both because I won't be there all the time. You see, at any given time, we delete, generalize, and distort information. What does it mean? Generalization in this case for us can be very important. The main concept of generalization is that we don't need to relearn every time what a chair is, even if it has a different shape. Okay? If not, oh my God, it would be a mess in our brain. Oh, this is a chair, but this is different. Or what is it? This is a chair, and that's one. What about that one? It would be a mess. So we know that it's a chair that is similar, so that's a chair too, and we know how to use it. Thank God, because if not, imagine the chaos. Now, when we manage to use certain strategies, when we manage to hypnotize people, we do achieve a good deal of results, don't we? At a certain point, it becomes key. That's me. That's personal. I want to not delete this part of my speech. That's for me. I like giving them the unconscious message and the conscious one, in case they cannot generalize the skill that they learned unconsciously. They know that they can rely on how to do this consciously. If they know how can change the way they think, and they can do it on purpose, they can change the way they feel. And they can do this on purpose as well. So on purpose, they can decide that they are responsible for their own life. So, what aren't you capable? We are close to the end, ladies and gentlemen. What aren't you capable of? What aren't you capable of when you feel really, really good? Honestly, go back to a moment where you felt really good, really, really good. What aren't you capable of? I don't know you, but I feel that I can do everything. Well, close to everything. And how much better do you feel when you give your life a direction? So learning to feel good for no reasons at all is one of the most important skills to learn. Feeling good for no reasons at all is one of the most important skills to learn and to practice, to make the most out of it, to direct our life enjoyingly. Sometimes solutions can be simple. If a person has to do a certain task and does it in a way that he feels constricted and tense and can't move, and the same task he feels that he's nice and loose and can do whatever he wants because has an attitude of curiosity, all of a sudden the result that he is having are very different. How much can become key learning to feel good without waiting for a specific reason. And the more you practice this skill, the better you get at doing that. Based on the quality of our decisions, we have a certain level of determination. I'll say it again. Based on the quality of our decisions, we have a certain level of determination. Based on how effectively we set our goals, we improve how much we believe in ourselves to achieve them. Based on how effectively we set our goals, we improve how much we believe in ourselves to achieve them. Based on how much we believe in ourselves, we improve the quality of our decision in pursuing the result or not. If we don't believe in ourselves, we don't believe we can get the result, we won't go full on. If an athlete doesn't believe that they can do something, you see, and that is something else. You can have athletes that don't believe they can do it. You can have somebody that doesn't believe they can do it, or they believe they cannot do it. That is different too. If I don't believe I can do it, I don't see myself doing it. I need to change the belief. I don't believe I can do it. If I believe I cannot do it, there is a limiting belief of the fact if I can do it or I can't. Different. Subtle, maybe, but different. And some of you that already work in a certain situation may know this already very well. And I just want to confirm this. So, somebody talked about motivation, I think at the beginning or something like that. Maybe not. But motivation always comes up. So, in the same way, responsibility is the ability to respond. What is motivation? Again, it's a nominalization. Motivation doesn't exist. Okay, it's how we do things in a motivated way. Okay, so just so you know. But motivation has another meaning into the word itself. Motive, the why, Motivation is action. So it's the why we are doing what we are doing. That's the motivation. If your why is not big enough, you just don't do it. It's how you do things in a motivated way. It's an action you do based on this decision of pursuing or not something, or not based on you want to pursue it, you don't want to pursue it. If you take the decision and it's a good quality decision, you go full on, you put all your energy because your why is strong enough. You don't need to get motivated. You're already doing it in a motivated way. We are wired in a very specific way. Our brain is wired in a very specific way. I don't know if you notice, when your hand goes to grab a glass of water, the closer you get to, the closer your hand is getting to the glass of water, the faster you go. Then you grab the glass of water and you get the glass of water to your lips. The closer it gets to your lips, the faster it goes. This is something we are wired that we do normally. Why don't use it? You see, the concept of motivation, being motivated, always happens when we don't have it most of the time. Most of the time. So I lack motivation. Yeah, you don't have a very, very good important reasons to do it. If you're very thirsty, you'll have a very good motivation and you'll want to drink. It's not that you're going to think about it too much. The closer you want to build your goals in such a way that the closer you're getting to achieve your goal, the faster you want to go. The more engaged you're going to be, the more energy you're going to be, whatever it is. And you can do this only if you build your goals in the right way. If you build your goals in the best way possible, what's going to happen naturally is that the closer you get, the faster you go. How often did it happen to you that, people halfway, they lose motivation in just doing it? Fuck it, I can't bother. They tried so hard at a certain point and fuck it. Because they were not built in a way that was giving them this attraction. So first, you want to have good reasons to move away from where you are. Okay, moving away from wherever you are. So it's good. Move away from that. The situation is shit. An athlete, I'm disliking very much what I'm doing right now because I'm not having the results that I want. So they need to be willing to move away from where they are. That's great. Now that they move away, you need to give a direction. What is it, the difference that makes the difference? How it is that they can do what they're doing in other fields and they can work it very well and they get the results that they want. Based on that, you know which direction to give them. And they can apply the same thing. So, this, ladies and gentlemen, is the presentation that I had for you, lovely people, about sport performance. In case you're interested, this is beyond that. In case you're interested, I was talking about goals. I am running a free 2 weeks program that is just about goals. So if you want to have more information, please get in touch with me. Let me know and I can pass the information to you. We work on your goals for 2 weeks together. Okay, but that is separated. Said that, do you have any questions about what I said? You have any specific questions that I didn't address? If I can address it, I will answer. If I can't, I'll say, I have no idea. Please go ahead. Well, I guess nobody has questions, and that's great. So either somebody fell asleep, or I already explained everything perfectly.
I've got one. I was just thinking through, I'm sure I've got loads, but with motivation and the closer you get, the more engaged you become. That makes a lot of sense. Mm. But what if somebody comes to you and they're struggling with motivation in the middle? What would you do then?
That is, well, the fact
say they're halfway there.
Yes.
They decided they wanted to do it, and now they've got to complete it, but they're struggling in the middle.
Yes, absolutely. And this is most of the time that I'm seeing clients, that's exactly the situation. Why? Because when they took the decision, they didn't have a movie that was long enough most of the time. You see, the quality of the decision in this case, I don't know in your case or your client's case, I would have to talk to somebody about this to find out. Okay? Julian, my pleasure. I will have to talk to this person to know about this. Okay? So, said that, in my experience, the quality of the decision was not very good. They decided that the difference is there are the people that want to achieve a result, and there are people that want to achieve a result. So if you want to achieve a result, you take one quality decision. If you want to achieve the result, the quality of your decisions is very different. So if you have someone specific in mind, I wouldn't know. And I would never say that this is just the only case. Sometimes they want to achieve the result and life happens. And all of a sudden, certain things are happening and their life had just been moved around somehow. And I don't know. So lots of things can be. One way to make sure that people are taking good quality decisions, as I said, is that they see themselves doing it and their movie needs to be long enough in the way they see themselves doing it. So they can see, they don't get the result, they can get to the result. That is different. You don't want people to see getting the result, because the risk is that their brain is giving them the signal already that they already got it. They don't have the push to get this anymore. But when they can see that they can get to the result and the movie is long enough to allow them to actually realize that this is happening, that is different. So that's one thing, and that the quality of the decision there generally is very good. How do you get to that quality of your decision? You need to have goals that are actually good and done in a way that the closer you get to that. For example, imagine that a person wants to go to the gym. Okay, that's one of the typical ones. I want to go to the gym because I want to go back in shape, whatever. Oh, okay, great. How important is this for you? Oh, yeah, it's important. Okay, very good. So you already have a plan. Oh, yeah, I'm going to the gym maybe 2, 3 times, 4 times a week, and then, it will happen. Okay. This is not a goal. This is not a plan. This is not a goal. A goal is something where, in 3 months' time, I'm going to achieve this goal based on the fact that I know that I already spoke to, if I have the knowledge, great. If not, I speak to a personal trainer and I say, look, is this achievable? How many times do I need to get to the gym? What do I need to change? Do I need to start to have different kind of food? So you want to have a goal in mind that you know that you're going to get, and has to give you this rush because you cannot wait to get the result. So you need to shift this in your mind. What I do generally with neuro-linguistic programming, with this kind of approach, I change the sub-modalities of the goal as well. And talking about the reality of a situation, what needs to happen, and what are the sub-modalities of that situation, the goal that they want to achieve, making it so enticing that, okay, so I have to go to the gym. How many times? It's 5 times a week, 4 times a week, I don't know. So for 3 months, so this means that 3 months is 5, it's 20 times and 60 times a week. Okay, 60 times, I'm just making up numbers, 60 times a week, very good. So you go on the calendar and you say minus, so for 59, 58, 57, 56, I'm getting closer and closer, 55, 50, 40, 31. And the closer you get, the more excited you get. When you build it in this way, you don't need motivation. It's happening. Did I answer your question?
I think so. I think it's one of the you did, because it makes sense and I understand this, but it was purely on the what do you do if somebody has made almost a bad decision. So you elaborated on the importance of, at that beginning part, setting the correct goals. But I was one, and I guess it depends on the individual, but if you get somebody who agreed to, so using fighting as an example,
okay,
they've agreed to fight because they want to be a fighter. They think, oh, that's a fantastic thing. They end up fighting, they get up, they go running, they sort their diet out, they start losing weight, then they get 4 weeks out and they start to get scared, and something comes up in their life and they start to question, oh my God, I don't want to do this anymore. But they have to do it. They have to continue. So they have to continue with that momentum if they're losing that momentum in the middle. That's something I've seen.
Well, what's the reason? What's their why?
Yeah.
Their why can be very powerful, but they do need to have a very, very strong one. That could be.
I think with fighting as well, there's a lot of people who want to be fighters, because and the more I learn about this, the more I see it happen in the gym. And this is where I guess it comes to it's the coach's responsibility to identify, no, you shouldn't be fighting. Because I'm sort of observing from the sidelines at the moment, and I'm seeing people who are entered to fights, and then it gets closer to the fight and I'm like, you probably shouldn't really be fighting because your motivation doesn't look right to me. But then I guess,
well, you said it right. Your motivation, your motive to do this action. So that's their why. If they don't have a why that is strong enough, it's not going to happen. And especially fighting. I never fought on a ring for a medal. I've done martial arts for a few years, and I got punched and kicked and slapped. And at a certain point, I decided that it was just too much. I didn't want to get punched and kicked and slapped anymore.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at a certain point, it became a decision. If a person wants on purpose to go, I like, for example, I always enjoyed the training that you can do in boxing. You know, it's such a fantastic training that I love it. But I never wanted to go and actually get my nose broken or anything like that. I mean, it's just something that I don't want to do. So what you're saying, yes, if a person is taking the decision to do something, it's up to the coaches or the person that has a certain kind of, absolutely, 100%, yes. Yes.
Thank you. You've just helped me answer my question. I need to continue to work out how to educate coaches to make sure their fighters' motivations are correct before they enter the fight. That's the answer.
Okay. Yeah. I'm glad you found the answer. I had Ilse that you say, how do you deal with perfectionism and self-sabotage? Oh, that's a very good question. Perfectionism. That's a great way to stop yourself from actually doing anything. Well, one way, Ram, okay, no worries. One way to work around perfectionism generally is to start doing things. That's my take on it. Self-sabotage, it depends how they are doing it. Most of the time, self-sabotage is happening because of limiting beliefs. Self-sabotage is happening because we are disappointed by eventually some results. We have different expectations. Now, there is a great strategy to make sure that you can be disappointed, that you feel like shit. There is a great strategy to really make sure that you can feel very powerless. And I'll give it to you. In case you really want to feel like crap, you can do this. You focus on what you cannot do with resources that you do not have. So if somebody comes to you focusing on what they cannot do, complaining about all the resources that they don't have, you know for sure that they are doing the wrong thing. So different is asking better questions to yourself. What can I do about this? What's under my control? You see, when you put together a goal, if the goal is just about you, when you are talking about team sports, you need to take care of the individual. What can the individual do singularly? What's the attitude, the best attitude that they can have? How much congruent can they be with themselves and with the rest of the team? So that is important, that is key, and you want this to happen. At the same time, you know, when you put a goal down for the individual and the goal somehow involves other people as well, of course, it will be linked to what other people do. You know, if somebody starts to have a problem with that, you need to make sure that you separate the two and making sure that if it's not under your control, just put it on the side for a second. What can you do with that? If they manage to get to the situation where they take responsibility, generally, these already put a situation above the line and they go beyond what is the self-sabotage. Then said that, it depends what we mean, what you mean specifically with self-sabotage. And we need to talk about that. So do you have a specific example?
Yes, because of the perfectionism installed within them from the parents, one of my clients struggles with maintaining that image that their parents have of them. So therefore they do use a lot of negative self-talk and put themselves down. And yeah, I don't mean physical sabotage, I mean mental self-sabotage.
Most of the time, who we think we are not stops us more than who we think we are. Other times, when we think about that we should have this kind of identity, we try our hardest to actually save it. When we start thinking in, I'm this kind of person, it's a matter of identity. When we think about, I am not this kind of person, you know, I'm a smoker, that's an identity. I'm a chronic pain sufferer, that's identity. I'm a procrastinator, that's all identity. When we work on an identity level, it's huge. It's huge. You know, what we want, generally speaking, is to transform the situation from identity to behavior. You are a person that behaves in a certain way. A behavior can be changed. An identity becomes quite challenging to do that. So if that is the case, that could be maybe one step to help them. Did I answer the question? Yes. Okay. Very good. Very good.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Ram, yes.
Hi, Alexandra. Just to, in relation to what Jessica said, one of the things I did was working with a guy who plays cricket. I know you're from Australia, so you should know something about cricket, but if you're in Europe, I'm sorry, most of you probably don't appreciate the cricket. Anyway, it worked. He was playing in the first 11 and he started off the season well, then he dropped down. He was getting zeros and ones and zero, and the teammate started teasing him by calling him the binary man, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, the scores, and he was scoring 50 at the start of the season. He asked to be dropped down to the second 11 because he was embarrassed, he wasn't contributing. Now, I work with him. I'm also a qualified coach in cricket, so I understand the workings of it as well. We did a couple of sessions, and he's improved, and he ended up with average of 45, which was brilliant for him. About the motivation, obviously his goal doesn't change. His goal was always to get back into first 11. The work he had to do was to go to the nets and practice and listen to what I said and reduce the risk. Like playing in poker, you have risk and reward. I told him, if you're going to play these shots over the top, or you're going to get a chance of getting caught, play it down the ground. You get 4 runs, but there's no risk. If you hit it at the top, you get 2 more runs, i.e. 6 runs, but you get a risk of getting caught. So he was more disciplined. The motivation changed. I said, look, if you don't do the practice, you don't get there. The other motivation was, do you still want your teammates when you go back to laugh at you by calling you Mr. Binary Man because you're getting low scores? So the motivation.
So what? Sorry. So what's the question, Ram?
That you can change the motivation, but the goal remains the same.
If you can change the motivation and the goal remains the same. Well, the concept of motivation per se is just, let's keep in mind, motivation does not exist. It's how you do something, okay? It's how you do whatever you're doing, okay? What does it mean? Whatever he needs to do, is he doing it in a motivated way? Does he know how to motivate himself into doing that action? How important it is for him? And can he see himself doing that, and how important it is for him to actually do it in that way or not? These are all things that are going to contribute if a person is going to pursue a goal or not.
Yeah, we use the term motivation. I appreciate what you're saying about there's no such thing as motivation, but we use the phrase motivation to explain what we're trying to do to achieve something.
But the fact is, if the person, whoever this person is, if the person is waiting for motivation to arrive and happen, because motivation is not a thing that you have or you don't have. That is the key point. That's what I'm finding a lot with my clients. My clients come to me and they think, I've got a brain, or well, the jokes, you know, they just, I have a brain, do you? So the jokes are really fall off the trees, really, about having or not a brain. But the fact is that they have a brain and they are convinced that thoughts happen. They wait for motivation to do that thing, just arrives. I don't have motivation, like something that you have or you don't. So it's in how you do whatever you do. That's the same thing with happiness. If a person is waiting for happiness, it doesn't come happiness. But if you wash the dishes happily, you train happily, you are going to the shopping mall happily, you talk to people happily, you will live happily. Motivation is the same. You go to training motivated. What is, for example, what's the difference that makes the difference for this person? I'm sure that this person has something that he does. It doesn't matter what happens, he does it. He doesn't need to wait for motivation. He just does it and feels good about that, and he can't wait to go and do it. How is this person doing that? You can just have the method, the strategy of how this person does that, and apply, for example, to that. That could be one way to do it. The fact is that you want to make sure that this person is happy with following through whatever it is that they want to follow through. It's a matter of feeling good about doing it. That's my belief. If you feel good about doing something, you generally just do it because it makes you feel good. I don't know if I'm really answering or not the question per se. I generally do not give advices on clients if I don't see the client and I don't talk to the client, because anybody thinks in a different way. So, okay. So if this was helpful, great. If you want to give it another go and tell me something more, I can give it a go and reply better if I can.
No, what I was saying was the goal remains the same, whether you want to achieve using boxing ring or
Yes.
a cricket field, the goal is always going to be the same. But sometimes, like Jessica said earlier, the person loses the motivation.
Yes.
Then you can give them another person, say, well, do you not want to do that for that reason? So okay, the motivation goes again. Because when you want to achieve a goal, there always has to you have to put in a lot of work.
That's not my belief. That's not my belief. I go against lots of these beliefs that lots of people are selling around. You see, when people sell the idea that you need to work hard, and it's going to be hard, it's a belief. What I would like to do, but that's me, is to transform whatever it's hard in something that I have a pleasure doing. All of a sudden, I do the same, I work hard the same, and I do it engagingly. I do it because I actually enjoy doing it. Take something that people don't like doing, for example, taxes. When it's the time to do the taxes, for example, I really, honestly, I don't like doing it. I don't like it. I don't. And for a few years, I had to do taxes for 4 different activities. Oh my God, I can tell you, it was dreadful. So at a certain point, I was tired to feel like shit. And I decided, what can I do about this? And I started to approach this with an attitude of curiosity. Let's see, how much money did I do? How much money did I lose? How much money did I earn in here? What is the thing that actually got me the most? What is the thing that has cost me the most? And when I changed the way I was thinking about the activity, I didn't need motivation because I was enjoying doing it. The goal was the fact that I needed to do the taxes, but the way that I approached that made a whole difference.
Okay, slightly disagree, but I take your point. Okay.
I'm not saying that this is for everybody. I'm saying that, honestly, you see, let's put it like that. If a person is approaching the Ironman with an attitude of, yeah, I don't need to train much hard, 3 months and I'll be fine, and they've never done anything like this before, you can say, look, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about, because it's required a certain level of commitment and work to make sure that your body will adapt. Your body needs to adapt. You need to have the right technique. You need to make sure that you can be able to compete for at least, if not longer, 11 hours without freaking stopping. So it's an attitude. Although, if the person is prepared and has that attitude, I know that it's going to be lots of work. The words are important, lots of work, not hard work, lots of work, because I need to put the certain amount of time and energy. These are the 2 things that we have, time and energy. I need to make sure that I'm going to eat a certain amount of food and I'm going to do whatever needs to be done engagingly at my very best, because I want to get the results that I want to be called an Ironman. And that, for me, I can see myself just in the competition and being able to actually get closer to the result, to the goal. That is different. They don't have to work hard. It's a word, but the word can make the whole difference. That's all. Okay? And again, that's me. I'm not saying that everybody has to do it. I'm just giving you my take on it. Okay? If the person has pleasure in doing what they're doing, they do it in a different way.
Exactly.